We are back. Live LeetCode. Today we're going to go through the removing duplicates from a sorted array. And for everybody else, let's get the terminal set up. File. New file? Yeah, collapse all that nonsense. We'll have a new file which we will activate live sharing for, start a collab session. Alright, copied that, and now I'm going to paste it to the group. Log into the GroupMe's. Cool. Thank God for LastPass. Alright, so y'all should be able to click that. If any of you can confirm that that link works, that would be great. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep moving forward. Alright, so we got remove duplicates from sorted array. The options that I think we should either pick from for programming language are either Java, Python, or JavaScript. Hands, who knows Java? JavaScript. Python. So maybe go with Java?
Yeah, I go with type language. Do a type language.
Like Java?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Java! Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and copy this into here. That way we've got the start. Given a sorted array of nums, we have to remove the duplicates in place such that each element only appears once, and then we return the new length. Okay, so we just return the length of the array, which is why we need to return an int. Do not allow extra space for another array. Oh, don't allocate any extra space for another array. So you got to do this by modifying the input array in place with O1 extra memory. Okay, so as an example, you get a num array with 1, 1, 2. It should return length of 2. Ah, okay, so we just got to return the length, which with the first two elements in num being 1 and 2 respectively. Oh, okay, so we have to modify the array as well as return the right ints. So it doesn't matter what you leave beyond the return length. What? Clarification. Confused why the return value is an integer but your answer is an array? Great. That was my question. The input array is passed in by reference, which means that modification may be known. Okay. So we're modifying the reference to the array, which is why it'll automatically get updated for everybody. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, so we've got this nums array, and now we have to figure out how we're going to iterate over the entire array, figure out if there's any duplicates, and then remove the duplicates in place in the array. So I can't remember. Does anyone know if you declare arrays with their size already in Java? Or if arrays are dynamic size and...
No, arrays get declared with size before you...
Interesting. But, so can I remove an element? Well, I guess I can look. Java remove array element. So we've got an array. Hey Tangus, how you doing?
Oh, you have to implement a personal function.
Another. It looks like they create another array too, which we can't do. We have to remove duplicates. And we cannot allocate space for an extra array. It doesn't matter what you leave beyond the return length. I wonder if we can just like switch the place of those two? No.
You still have the elements.
Like if we can't allocate space for another array and we have to remove values and arrays are a constant size, we can't change it. What is the first step? I think it's to iterate over the array. I think regardless, we have to run a for loop to run over the array. So that'll be for int I equals 0, I is less than nums dot length, I think that's right, I plus plus Now we've got a for loop, and then we want to, at some point, get nums I. And then at the end, we're going to want to return a length, which we have not defined yet. So we need to define an int length equals 0. And then we return length at the end. And inside of here, we do some work on the array to generate the length that we need to then return here at the end.
Do we have to declare length?
No.
Return num.length?
I thought, do you think we're going to be able to modify the actual size of the array?
Don't we have to? We have no way we could. We can't allocate it.
How do you remove one element from an array in Java? Delete the specified integer from an array. Like it looks like it's a long function just to delete.
That is way too long. And they're using break statements. Paralyzed
It's better to create a new array.
But we're not allowed to create a new array.
Your mind's in the right place. Yeah, it's so it says up here, do not allocate extra space for another array. You must do this by modifying the input array in place with O1 memory. Wait, doesn't that mean that we can't run a loop? Or are loops O1?
You can run a loop.
You can run this.
Loops are in O1?
Yeah.
I'm going to copy this code that we have currently.
I mean, like, computationally speaking, it's O(n), but memory speaking, it's O1.
Okay. It doesn't matter what you leave beyond the return length.
Wait. We just have to get the length. We don't have to change the value.
We do. It'll be known to the caller. But I guess for now we can let's just try that. I think that's a good simplest thing that could possibly work. Okay. So for the length, we want to say if nums I equals nums I plus 1. If they're the same value, then we don't want to increase the length. If they are a different value, then we do want to increase the length. So only do it if it does not equal. If it does not equal, we want to say length plus plus, and then we return the length. Stop it. So let's go back over here. Let's paste that, and let's see what happens.
So what if it runs out of...
Not a statement, nums I. Oh, ha! Scratch. Say what you're saying, because I think you're right.
No, I'm saying, what if you run out of the length I plus 1?
Yep. That is probably going to be the next thing that we hit. Out of bounds. Samir called it. All right, so we have to say while it's less than nums length minus 1. Give this so it looks a little bit better structurally. Stop trying to see. And let's run this. Output was 1. It expected 1 too. So the input is this.
So, it's returning the array?
Mm-mm.
No, we need to modify the array too.
We got to modify the array too. What do you? How do you think we?
It says it's passed by reference, so it means if we modify the array there,
It modifies the array in the original. Yeah.
What do you think we should do to modify the array in here?
I don't know. I was expecting like once we get the duplicate number, we just put it at the end of the array and then send like the array from the smallest to the
Move 1 to the end.
And then now we know.
Well, I guess save the duplicate value as its own value. Like just move it off to the side.
Yeah.
Move the rest of the array up 1 value. Move the value that's saved into that its own separate value onto the end.
Yeah, but then like to do that we have to like create a new array.
save the duplicate as a separate variable. After we save the duplicate as a separate variable, move remainder of array up 1 pos, and then after that add duplicate to end of array. Okay, so the first step, save the duplicate as a separate variable. So if nums I equals nums I plus 1, then we're going to say int holder equals nums I plus 1. Alright, so now we've saved the duplicate as a separate variable. Now we want to move the remainder of the array up 1 position. How would we do that?
Are you live sharing this?
I am. The chat, it's in the group chat.
Where? What group chat?
GroupMe?
Oh, yeah, my phone's dead.
Go to groupme.com.
Yeah.
Move the remainder of the array up 1 position. How would we do that? And no ideas? Turn to Google.
Patrick?
Yeah.
It says you're not currently editing a shared document on here.
Oh, I can't get it to work.
Whatever, save this in downloads as lead. Okay, what about...
Send it on Slack as well.
You want me to, or are you asking if I did?
Oh, can you?
Sure. You don't have access to GroupMe?
I do, but I have two-step verification, so it sends me a pin on my phone.
Okay.
Which one doesn't work.
There you go, Samir.
What? No, it's cool. I'll just go home and fix it. It's in a boot loop anyway. It was stuck in a boot loop.
I would love some help. I am trying to figure this out. Move the elements of a Java array 1 position. Another for loop? Is the answer a nested for loop? Well, simplest thing. I'm not getting much contribution from the peanut gallery yet, which is fine. For int I equals 0, no, I equals I. I is actually j. J is less than nums.length. J++. So xj equals x. No, we want to start up at j equals I, j is less than that, j++ equals j minus 1. That way it goes, takes it, moves it 1 position forward, add on the value. Take it, move it 1 position back, move to the next value. Iterate over the entire array, and once we do that, we then want to say, instead of x, this needs to be r, or nums. Nums, the duplicate nums, nums of element nums.length minus 1 equals holder. Alright, so we save the duplicate variable, we move the remainder of the array up 1 position, and then we add the duplicate to the end of the array, and then we return the length of the array. Let's see what happens. Yusuf, were you able to get in now?
I
Did you click the new link that I posted in group chat?
Yeah, the new link that you posted.
And it's still not?
Yeah, you're still not sharing a document.
Because it says Moose the Goose and Crazy Wizard are both in here.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
we're
you
in
have to
here, but we
follow.
can't see the code.
Wonder why. I wonder why. We'll just open the entire freaking downloads folder. And there should be a caps leak code. What about now?
It's like putting me out. Let me see.
Yeah, it's launching. Cool. What about now? Yeah, it looks, when I access it from a separate one, I'm able to get the live sesh. Like here is one, and then here is my main, and we've got two different dudes in here. You guys still can't? Where-
I don't have the link anymore.
Yeah,
You need a new link?
yeah, we need to do it.
Okay. I guess you can't delete messages in LinkedIn or in GroupMe. You in now, Yusuf?
Ooh, yes. Okay.
All right, now we got a Yusuf, Moose the Goose. Samir?
I'm getting it now.
All right, so I'll just keep copying and pasting this over into
On it.
the tab. Let's see what it runs now when we run this. Expected, our output was only 1. I thought we were supposed to return the length. Return the new length. It says it's expecting an array of 1, 2, but our output was only 1. How about we return nums? Let's see what happens when we do that. It's incompatible type. It needs a length. That is weird. Something's not going right in here. Any thoughts from anyone? Got a bunch of smart coders. We were all taught Java. Did our university fail us?
Why are we initializing in? Wait. Okay, never mind. I thought we were initializing an array inside the for loop. Okay. So in order. Okay.
There is an answer, and we will, if we all give up, we will go to the submissions. But I feel like this should be easy enough for us to figure it out.
Yeah. Okay. So what does this function do currently? So we have length. The nums are not equal. And because it's already sorted, we can just compare it to the next element. I see.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, so right now I'm saying if there is a duplicate right there, then we want to, no, if there's not a duplicate, right, then I'm doing things in the wrong way. So I want to cut this and then say else, because this else is where there is a duplicate found.
Oh, yeah.
No duplicate. So if there's a duplicate found, then we want to save that duplicate, which we do right there, and then we move the remainder up, and then we add the duplicate to the end of the array, and then we return the length. All right, let's see how this works. Run the code. Out of bounds exceptions. All right. So we got a -1 out of bounds exception. Because it's so if it's the first one, if there's a duplicate, we actually want.
Wait.
I think we want to start at I+1. Sorry, you said
No, I was saying that we're iterating over nums, so until it's less than nums length -1. But then I realized why we were doing that is because we need to check the next element of the array. So we don't want to go to the last element and then check the next element, because that's another thing that we don't want to adjust.
Yes, and I exactly what you said I think is right here. Like this, because we're doing j -1 instead of +1, we want to go to the full length instead of stopping one before. And the corollary is, instead of starting at I think we want to start at I+1. And I think that should remove our out of range. Cool, so now we have an array of nothing, which is a thing. So this time we got an array of nothing. All right, I guess let's talk it out. So we pass in the test, we pass in 112. 112 gets passed in here. Length initialized to 0. 4 0, while it's less than, length is 3, so while it's less than 2, iterate add 1. All right, so let's take the first one, nums 0, so we've taken 1. If 1 does not equal 1, false, else. Int holder equals nums I+1. So I is 0, that means we're taking 1, which is going to be this value, so holder equals 1. And then for j equals 1, j is less than 2, add j. Nums, j is going to be 1, so at the first position of the array, well, I guess second, because arrays start at 0, we want to put in there the previous value. That was where I messed up. Okay. Can anyone tell me why? Why is this the wrong thing to do here? Based off the comment. I'm assigning nums j to the value of nums j -1. Why is this wrong?
Wait,
Doing what?
So J is 1.
J is 1. J minus 1 is 0. So I'm putting at position 1 the item that is at position 0. The comment says move remainder of the array up 1 position. What is this doing?
It's moving it down one position.
It's moving it down 1 position.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is the opposite of what we want to do. What would we do to fix this?
Just say plus 1. Yeah.
Anyone fix it already?
No.
Oh, no.
You got
There we
it?
go.
Cool.
Also,
Oh.
Austin,
Yeah, what's up?
you said 4 and J is equal to I plus 1.
And now, sorry. Talk.
No, you have int J is equal to I plus 1, right? So that'll be 1. And as long as it's less than the length,
Oh, yeah,
So
you need to do
length
the
is
left
three.
right length.
Once you do I plus 1, it's gonna be out of range.
Right here?
Yeah.
Agreed.
So maybe like make it just J equal to I.
So I'll open up the live code browser. I'd like other people to modify. So what should we change about this to make it better? So right now, this is the incorrect part,
yeah.
or this is?
No, the one you were pointing to earlier, J plus
Before
1
the-
without bounds.
Yes. So what do we need to change up here to make the code more right? Did you?
Yeah. If there's something at the end of the array, assigning it to holder erases that thing at the end, which might be an important element. I don't know, why are we adding it to the end of the array?
Because we've already moved the entire array up 1 position, so now there's an empty spot at the end of the array.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
That's why we're putting it at the end. The issue's in here. The issue that the current thing that is broken is right here.
Okay.
So what do we need to fix? We got an out of bounds exception, which means that we're trying to grab a value from the array that does not exist because we're either trying to grab before.
Do like length minus 1. Again, yeah.
That's 1.
Or yeah, I can just change like maybe add another like if statement.
Do what?
Add like another if statement inside.
Another if?
Yeah. Like do that like if
Ah.
J plus 1 is less than.
I think we can do it easier. You're right with this. We need to make this length minus 1. There's one more change we need to make in the declaration of this that makes that statement full. Right now we're initializing this for loop for int j equals I plus 1. J is less than nums.length, j plus plus. Someone should change nums.length to nums.length minus 1, like Tangus said. And then there's one more thing we got to change in this that makes it right. So the purpose of this for block is to move the remainder of the array up 1 position. We found a duplicate, so we want to take the rest of the array and move it up 1 position. The error is in the declaration of this for what we're doing. So I'm pretty sure.
And
I could be wrong. Do you guys think this is good and we should just try it again?
Try it. Let's try it.
Yeah, it never hurts.
Okay, my thought was that we should initialize this as j equals I instead of I plus 1. But we'll check. We'll see what this does. Output was 1. And we got 1.
Okay,
We-
that's a step.
Let's do what?
That's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, we do have 1 now, so it's a little bit better, and we have no errors. But we do not have
Yeah, just try to remove the plus 1. That might work.
which.
What's the value of our length?
Yeah,
We do
I think
system
we're
dot
returning to
print.
1. That's why.
Yeah.
I need a.
Oh, you put it inside the function.
Gersh and also, let me give you guys that. What? There we go. Now y'all got it. Run.
Capital.
What?
System is capital X.
One more time.
System is capital X. S is capital X. There we go. Now it should.
So you're
Alright.
only getting a length of 1. You should be getting a length of 2.
All right, so let's walk through it again. See what happens. Take 1, 1, 2. 1, 1, 2 gets fed into this function. Length is initialized to 0, and then we check. For int I equals 0, I is less than 2. No,
Why don't
yeah, I
we
is
just get rid
less
of the
than.
minus 1?
Hmm?
Because that way, it's not checking the last element.
In here.
I don't know. Something's off right now.
All right, I'm gonna keep talking through it. So for this, while for I is equal to 0, I is less than 3. I is less than 3, increase I. If 1 does not equal 1, false, 1 does equal 1, so it's else. We're gonna initialize the holder to nums 1. So that means that holder equals the value of 1. So for j equals 1, j is less than 3. No, j is less than 2, because we go down 1, j plus plus. So nums j is 1. So nums 1, the first, this element is then going to be 2. So we move 2 into there. Great. J increases, so now j's value is 2, which means that it is no longer less than 3, or it is no longer less than 2. So we're done. We move 2 back. And then we say nums of length minus 1, so nums of position 2 equals the holder, which is set to value 1. So now our array should be, well, I mean, I think I can just print it every time. Let's just print it every time.
Wait.
Do you have an idea?
Yeah,
I
we have
think this
int
is-
length initialized to 0, but say we were to have a 1-element array,
Mm-hmm.
then that for loop would be skipped entirely and our length would be left with 0, when that's not actually true. We still have a length of 1, it's just that we have only 1 element.
So you think it might
so
be...
that, yeah, and so that wouldn't have like, yeah, that 1 element wouldn't have a duplicate, and that length would still be 1, but we have it initialized to 0, so that would print out a wrong output.
Agreed.
Also,
So update length initialized to 1?
Yeah, let's just do that. That might work. Careful.
Hey,
Sir.
instead of like the first for loop, it's num the length minus 1. Instead of length minus 1, I think like the minus something needs to be updated every time.
This?
Yeah, so it's like num length minus like j or something like that. And then if it's not duplicate, j stays the same. And if it's duplicate, we need to increment j by 1. Because let's say there are like 3 numbers.
I'm going to hide that. Looks like we got
The
it.
first 2 numbers are 1, 1, and 2, right?
Yeah.
So if the first 2 numbers are same, then we put the first number in the last index, so we don't have to like check the last index. So we are just decremented 1. So
I think I hear you.
yeah, so it's like there are like 1, 1, and 2, right?
Yeah.
So our length is 3, and since they are same, so we're doing like length minus 2, starting from 0,
Mm-hmm.
and then since we know this is duplicate, we only have to check these 2, right? So it's just 1 and 2. So if we put this over the
Boy.
so now this is index 0, this is index, and then it's gonna become like this, right?
You know what the problem is? What we're doing? It's initially 0. It's checking. Nope, it's not. It's duplicate. So length doesn't increase, and you're moving this whole thing up to this.
Mm-hmm.
But now the position's at 1. So then you're only getting 1 counter. So that's why the length is only 1.
Agreed.
Yeah.
What do you think the change is for us to make this better?
Well, if you do what Yusuf said, just setting the index to 1, that would give you 2.
Right.
But then that is like
Every time it made a
Yeah.
change, we need to like we return like length minus whatever the number of changes it has made.
Watch the board real quick.
See, that worked.
Right.
Because you already changed that. That's an indirect way of doing it. So I think the whole point of this is just to get the length, not to move the array over. As soon as it gets the length, it's sort of just doing it on its own.
You think? So you
believe
think
so.
that if we just comment out this else,
I believe so.
we
I
should,
feel so.
let's find out.
Just try to return to.
Oh, you forgot to change the index, the length to 0, or whatever you do.
Why would we want it to 0?
Well, why do you have the length as 1?
So
Oh,
I
yeah,
just ran it and we still got 2.
Okay. Yeah, no, you're right, that's fine.
But our output was 1, 1 and it expected
Yeah.
1, 2.
Okay, so I guess you did have to do it the other way.
We,
Okay.
we'll run it
Just
again.
the position over. All right.
And we get no, I will not pay to speed you up. Let's submit and see if we got it.
Wrong answer.
Wrong answer for the, okay, so this is a input.
So it's an even harder case. Okay.
Yeah, so let's go back to description, test case. Let's add in a test case and run this and see what it does give us. All right, so now we can talk through this harder output. 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. So it expects the output to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but for some reason we got 2 1s that are duplicate. So we did move them around, but we didn't move a 1 to the end that was somewhere in there for some reason.
Right.
So let's kind of plug this into the algorithm. I'll try to slide this over on one side and this guy over on the other.
Okay.
And that way we can see the test case.
I think I'm.
Nope. How do I get rid of you? There we go. Cool. So let's talk this out.
I think I have an idea about how.
Do it.
Okay, so you have this 1, 1, 1 over there,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, come on. Come to us.
I don't know. I was thinking like maybe it's something wrong with the check cases. I don't know. It's like this one. Yeah, so this one gets saved. I'm not sure if this one gets saved though.
It looks like we have an error because we have these 3 values in a row.
Yeah.
You know, like these 2, everything else is fine, but if we have 3 values in a row that are the same, it's like, nope,
Yeah.
nope, not about that. So we plug 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3. Length still initialized to 1. Okay. I'm just going to start at index, we're going to pretend the rest of the loop ran well until we get to index 2. I equals 2. If nums 2, 1. If 1 does not equal 1, false, go to else. Folder equals this one, spot 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. So we're taking that one, holding it. And then we move the remainder of the up 1 position. So then we move the remainder of the array up 1 position, so all of these get slid over. And then we put this 1 on the end. Here's where we fail. I increments, which means that we move, because the rest of the array moved over, we are now comparing 1 to the next one of 2.
Right. Okay.
So I think when we move the array around, we don't want to increment I.
So you want to change it to a while loop? No.
I think when we else, there is a duplicate. I think down here we want to say I equals I minus 1 or I minus minus. That way once the array loops again, it'll increment I, but to put it back at the same value.
Okay. We can try that.
Let's see. we had a length of 310.
Yeah, that's too much.
It's a little bit high. Okay, so my answer was not correct there. We'll go back, we'll save it again, we'll run it again, see what happens. We'll run this till 7:15, and then we'll give into the submission and swap back over to Rohan Quest. Rohan, if you want to jump in, we got this live program, so anybody can jump into the code and do it. That is the error. Like, I still think that's the spot of the error. We just have to figure out a better way to make that happen. So the error is, we move this to the end, and then afterwards we increment. So we.
What if we just put another sort of if statement, checking again? Well, if the next one is also a duplicate.
I think I have an idea of a helper variable which might make this easier. So if we looked at an index and we had the current value, we can look at the next value. If that current value is not equal to that, we say that's the current value. So then we go. Actually, never mind, because if it's 1, 2, 1. Okay, never mind.
No, because if it's 1.
If it's if it goes 1, 2, 1, then current value is 2, and then it goes to 1.
What if we already know that the array is sorted?
That's right.
We know the array is sorted.
So we know the array. Yeah. So current value. If that's not. If this is equal to the current value, then we know that's a duplicate.
So then what?
So then we take out that and we shift that over, and then
Instead of a for loop, make it a while loop.
yeah. Okay. I don't know. Or just-
What's your thought of where to go next? From knowing this, what's your thought of where to go next?
So what I'm thinking, so there's current value. It's not equal to current value, but if it is equal to the current value, then we go over there. We can take that out. We shift the rest of the elements over. We stay at the same index. We check if that's the current value. If it's not, take that out. Shift the rest over. And then again, ask yourself that. And if it is, and if it isn't equal to the current value, then we go there. And then, yeah.
The reason I think it's a while loop is because with a for loop, every single time you go around it, it increments our value. So every single loop, we're going to be automatically moving a value. But if we just say while the current value is less than the total length of the array, each time we iterate, we can just have that if statement. If it's a duplicate, we do it. You say we don't change the current place of the current value. We just shift the entire array.
Yeah.
So if it's a duplicate, we do the exact same. If there's no duplicate, we increment the length, and then we say current value equals current value plus plus.
Yeah. Wait, current value plus. Oh, as in the index?
As in the in.
Wait. Okay.
I plus
I plus.
I plus plus.
I plus.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. You got it.
I is the next one.
So we need length. I would love to not do this. I would love if you guys wanted to benefit. But if neither of you two wants to own these code changes, I'll do it.
Go for it. Are you getting the whole thing to a while loop?
I think we need to change this for loop to a while loop, but I don't think we need to change this for loop to a while loop. Yes. Cool. So now we've got the current value, and now I think the next thing we want to change is for from a for to a while.
4 from a 4 to. So this 4?
Yes.
Okay.
So you have to initialize the I earlier.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm going to type index just to make that
Cool.
descriptive. While. Then. And so what were we thinking with the while loop?
While index, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
While index is less than nums dot length.
So would it be possible to, you found the difference between each of the ones between them, and you took the index of one on 0, 1, 2, 1, 1, that leaves you 0, 1, 1, 3, 5 of those. And then you have two. That's a cool plot.
just take the difference between them, and if it's 0, then you know it's a duplicate.
Yeah, but then that doesn't. You can do it again. You keep doing it until you have another. Or you have.
Wonder if this is something you could have solved with recursion.
You keep
Possible.
doing this. You keep doing this till you have all one.
Is this a recursive problem?
Probably.
It works in this case. You get 0, 1, so you get 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3. You do it again.
Yeah, I'm down to try it.
How would you do it?
0,
So we got while index is less than nums.length. Okay, so we're checking for duplicates. And in what you wrote up, Yusuf, we've got if there is no duplicate, then we want to increase the length, and we also want to move the current value up 1.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So basically, make the current value the next index. Yeah. Okay. So then, if nums what is it? Wait, do we want to?
Where?
So
Yep.
if nums are okay, so length plus nums.
Hey, Samir pointed out a good point. We want to say yeah, you do your thing. You do your thing.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's. And then we also need to increment I,
Okay.
right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
index. That's right, index.
Yeah, all those need to be indexes. Refactoring. Oh.
Oh, and in fact, yeah, we need to do index plus plus.
Any I's that are not with an index? I think we're good with the I's. Samir pointed out. Okay.
Yeah, I put it in there.
Oh, great. Who did this? Who just did this? Made it so that we increment index and then we don't add 1 to the index.
Yeah, I did.
That was smart. That was smart. And
then
then we already, did you do this?
I put that in there.
Okay, cool. I think we're good to try it.
I'm not so sure.
I'm not so sure.
We'll find out.
Yeah, I'll try it real quick.
Let's see.
Not quite.
Not quite.
Not quite. On the right track, but not quite.
All right, this one even failed for the original one, so that might help with our debug. Let's try throwing that. We got 5 minutes, crunch time.
What do you think?
5 minutes left?
No. What failed?
The original test,
Yeah.
the 112 turned out 121 was output. Because
We're just gonna do a bit of code at the bottom, but comment it out so it doesn't interfere.
cool. If they're the same.
Wait, how are we just doing? Oh. Actually, I like the idea of just making the length the original length and then decrementing whenever we find a duplicate.
Let's give it a shot.
I have like some numbers.
I'll let you start doing that. I'm going to work on the decrementing part.
Yeah.
Duplicate is found, then we decrement.
Yeah.
Got that. Did you, I decremented, so as long as we initialize, did you initialize it to the length? We did. Okay, let's give this one a shot.
Well, I was planning on doing more stuff. I think at this point the code isn't going to work. But I have an idea that might. Yeah. I think I have an idea that might even. Yeah.
Yeah, this is tons better. So the original length out here was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we got it all the way down to 4. Whereas it should have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It should have been 5.
Missing one number, so
It's missing 1, but the first one is not missing 1. Like that one is correct.
so where did it end? So what's why do we have current value in here? I don't see the point of current value at all.
We could have just done it with an index. We don't need current value, but it's
No, but I mean, when I'm using it anywhere in the code for any reason.
well, I'll delete it over here. I won't change any of the functionality, but I have a feeling this is recursive.
Probably.
So check this. We've got this long array. I wish this was touch. So we've got a long array. All that we care about are the first two values of the array. If they're not a duplicate, move to the next value. If it is a duplicate, then you want to take the first value of the array, hold it off to the side, remove duplicates from the rest of the array. And then after we remove the duplicates, then we add the first value to the end of the array.
Right.
And then we keep calling that unless the length of the array is 1, in which we return 1. Yeah?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
See if I can code that up real quick. We do not have much time. This, unless someone else has another idea, this is kind of going to be the last attempt. Yeah, this is the last attempt, so I'm just going to go ahead and write over all this. Does anyone disagree with trying to go with a recursive attempt?
Go for it.
Okay. All right, so the first thing we want to do, length equals 1. And index doesn't matter. We don't need an index. I don't even think we need this while loop. We just need this if statement.
Yeah, recursive calls are usually just if and else. You don't need while loop.
If nums.index, okay. Well, the first thing we want to say is if nums.length is greater than 1. That way we can actually compare it to something. Otherwise, we just are going to return the length, which is 1. So now what we want to do, if nums.length is greater than 1, if there's no duplicate, if there's no duplicate, we just want to call remove duplicates on the rest of the array.
Yeah.
We just increase it, instead of by 1, we increase it by 2.
Why would we increase by 2?
No duplicate. We have an array. 0, 1, x. All right, so we want to make a recursive call. There are no duplicates, so we want to make a recursive call from 1 up.
Well, let's just do it like this. So if we have an array of just one element, you return that array, correct?
Yeah.
So if we have an array of two elements, alright, you take one out. If there are duplicates, if they're both duplicates, just return one of them. Because there's only one, correct?
We would call remove duplicates on the array of 1. And then inside of there, the length of that would not be greater than 1. So then we would just return the length of 1. If there's no duplicates, then we want to say that length
Oh, I was thinking even maybe return.
plus equals remove duplicates of the rest of the array, which is going to be nums. How do I grab a subset of an array?
We can just do nums.length minus 1.
Wait, copy of ring.
No.
I think that might make a copy.
Yeah, this may make a copy if we're doing this. Yeah, recursion might allocate memory.
Just pass in the reference to the array and then two indices. Just like make a
How?
sub method. So you're make another method,
Are we allowed
like
to make
parallel
another method?
public int and call it, I don't know, remove duplicates and bracket num, and then int start and end.
Public int, say what? Remove
Yeah, remove duplicates.
double so that it's not the same name.
You can method overload because we have different argument types.
Okay. Remove duplicates.
Yeah, and then int bracket nums. And then int start and end. You need two more parameters.
Comma what? Int.
Int start and then end.
Okay. And then it's the same function. Like we have the exact same shit on the inside.
Maybe.
Uh,
Except if
It'll have to be a little bit different
yeah.
because this time.
Oh, we need to change index also. We didn't define that.
Yep. Index at this point is going to be start, and then we don't even need an end. We just need a start because we already know the end by the length. So num start does not equal num start plus 1, and then so remove duplicates.
It's really weird though, because you're gonna have like once you remove a duplicate, like all the numbers will get shifted over.
I think your idea is right. So then int length equals 1 if nums is greater than 1. If nums start is not equal to start plus 1, then we say that the length plus equals remove duplicates of start plus 1. Uh-oh. Nums, don't need that, comma start plus 1. A duplicate is found. If a duplicate is found, then we want to say holder equals start num start, and then we, instead of moving the remainder of the array, we just call remove duplicates, well, length plus equals remove duplicates of nums, comma, start plus 1. Okay, so regardless of whether there is a duplicate or not a duplicate, we want to do this call, so we don't need to replicate it. We can just do it once and then get rid of this. Get rid of the else statement. Bye, John.
I can see. Thank you.
If there is no duplicate, then we only want if there is a duplicate. If there is a duplicate, we save the holder, and then we All right, I think I've kind of lost everybody. So I'm gonna just check out the solution. Looks like you guys are all kind of zonked. All right, so 5 comp size students, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We had 7 people. We were not able to solve an easy problem. That is a major ego boost. Let's see what the solution is. 2 pointers. So for this one, this is how easy they were able to do it. If they have one for loop where they iterate over the entire array. If there's no duplicate, then we increment and we set I equal to, and then we move the entire array up.
Yep. Which is what we did.
Oh, I got it. So you iterate over this whole loop. If the index if the index is not the last one, then you subtract, and then you subtract this minus this, and then you get if O is the difference between those. If O is not 0, then you append the second number. You get the function. It's missing the O, but you can use it. Because the first number is always 0.
Well, Rohan figured it out. We did not. All right, Rohan, let's keep moving. Thanks for joining us.